Sector Investment Conference of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation will be an auspicious means for the benefit of our country's entrepreneurs and the entire Islamic world. I would like to express my gratitude to all those who contributed to the organization of the first high-level private-public investment conference of our organization, including the Secretary General and the Islamic Development Bank. I would like to convey my special thanks and congratulations to our Presidential Investment Office for their contributions for the conference. I hope we will have productive discussions and consultations during the two-day conference. You will discuss the steps to be taken to increase the level of investments among Islamic countries, the threats and opportunities we face, such as trade wars. You will evaluate the global economic outlook and will make horizon-opening decisions for us, this statement. And I hope that the decisions to come from the conference will be a guide for all the countries that are members of the OIC. Here, I would like to reiterate an issue that I emphasize at every opportunity. In order to achieve the purpose of the consultations, the discussions must be sincerely done, and it is necessary that the decisions are implemented and converted into practice. In this respect, it is important that we implement all the issues we discuss, elaborate, and decide on altogether. Only when evaluated in this way, our meetings will find their true meanings and will become platforms that produce remedies for the problems of our ummah. Otherwise, the impact of other work and decisions taken here will be very limited. Inshallah, with your joint efforts, with our joint efforts, I believe that the high-level public-private investment conference of the OIC, which is the first of its kind in this field, will be setting a good example in this sense. Distinguished guests, as Muslims, we have an enormous human resource of 1.7 billion. Currently, around 20% of the world population is composed of citizens of the Islamic Cooperation Organization member states. Beside the population, Islamic countries possess a great potential with their natural resources and strategic locations. To portray the capacity we have here, I would like to share some striking figures with you. Today, 65% of the world oil production, 55% of natural gas production, 70% of natural rubber production, and 40% of the known uranium deposits are from Islamic countries. In addition, 93% of dates, 35% of coconut, 15% of wheat, 17% of rice, and 39% of spices are produced by Muslims. Besides these natural riches, Islamic countries are geographically located at the very center of the world trade routes. Istanbul and the Dardanelles Straits connecting the Black Sea to the Mediterranean, the Suez Canal connecting the Mediterranean to the Indian Ocean, the Strait of Hormuz, which connects the Persian Gulf to the Indian Ocean, are only a few of these strategic points. However, despite all these opportunities, the share of the Islamic countries in the world economy does not even exceed or reach 10%. What is even more grave is that the 21% of the world population of OIC, meaning 350 million brothers and sisters, are trying to hold on to life under extreme poverty conditions. We see that there are serious gaps between our countries in terms of national income and development level. The gap of income in between the richest and the poorest Islam country is more than 200 falls. So it means the Muslims are not fully putting the zakat institution in full function. Only through zakat we would not have had any poor person in our geographies. While one side of our geography lives in luxury and grace, the other side is in hunger and poverty. However, the share of the European Union, which has a share of less than 7% in the world population, holds more than the 22% of the world economy. With only 303 million citizens, the United States alone accounts for the 24% of the world economy. While the global fixed capital investments have exceeded $20 trillion, the total fixed capital investments of OIC member states are around $1.5 trillion. When we look at these figures, it's quite clear that there is a huge imbalance and irregularities, distortions. This picture also points out that we should make sincere self-criticism, because ignoring our problems or neglecting them is of no use to anyone, and it will not be so. A friend speaks the truth, speaks what's bitter, but speaks the truth. As a friend to you, maybe I speak what's bitter, but I speak the truth. In spite of all the wealth and opportunities that our God has bestowed us with, we should thoroughly contemplate why we are not in the position we deserve in trade, income, justice, investments, and foreign policy. Instead of blaming others for our own problems, we should be able to do our own self-assessment first. Meaning, before being held accountable, we should hold ourselves accountable. We should be able to speak about our problems open-heartedly without being caught in any personally driven concerns. On the basis of win-win, we must seek ways to expand, diversify our cooperation, and increase our trade with joint projects. As Turkey, we exerted intensive efforts in this regard during our 3-year summit presidential term. In particular, we have endeavored much to increase the opportunities for mutual trade and investment among Islamic countries and to overcome the obstacles and congestions caused by legal procedures. We have established high-level strategic cooperation councils, joint economic commissions, and high strategic committees with many countries, including members of the OIC. We organized comprehensive sessions on trade facilitation and risk management and customs at the 34th COMSEC meeting and food safety at the 35th meeting. Not only did we focus on identifying our problems, we also produced solutions, and most importantly, we implemented them. Aligned with my call in 2016 in Istanbul, we have completed the establishment procedures of Istanbul Arbitration Center to resolve commercial and investment disputes between member states of the organization, and hopefully we will achieve the arbitration center's activation this year, and I hope the reconstruction process of Islamic Chambers of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture will be completed in a short while. We also attach great importance to innovation initiatives of Standing Committee on Scientific and Technological Cooperation. I care about the work of the Islamic Development Bank, Investment Insurance, and Export Credit Institution. Likewise, the works of the Islamic Private Sector Development Authority and the Islamic Commerce and Finance Corporation are admirable. On this occasion, I would like to express in particular the importance we place on the preferential trade system agreement, which will increase the trade volume of the organization member states and the market among themselves, and I believe it will be proven fruitful if all member states put the agreement into practice as soon as possible. Dear friends, Turkey during the last 17 years in terms of direct investment into the economy has written a great success story. Despite the global and regional channel and even the sabotage initiatives that targeted our country last year, we have continued on a steady course. Between 2002 and 2018, we grew by 5.5% on average and became one of the fastest growing economies in the world. Similarly, we increased our exports from $36 billion to over $180 billion. We have increased the volume of trade with Africa more than 6 times in the last 15 years by means of regional and expansion moves. With our trade with Asia Pacific and Latin American countries reached to a level which is 10 times higher in the same period. Our total trade volume with Asian countries, which was only $1.3 billion in 2020, increased to $9.1 billion in 2017, according to the World Bank Ease of Doing Business Index. Turkey, for the last 2 years, has increased in ranks by 27. In tourism, in 2018, we rose by 2 places at global level with 46 million visitors and became the 6th country attaching the highest number of tourists, and we expect to host more than 50 million this year. Our banking sector maintains its strength with its technological infrastructure as well as its resistance to shocks. The capital adequacy ratio of the sector, which is 17%, is well above the international standards of 8%. Today, Turkish Airlines operates flights to 126 countries and 326 cities, which is the highest number of destinations for an airline. We have a serious workforce with our young, educated, and qualified population. A G20 member, the world's Turkey is the world's 13th biggest country in terms of purchasing power parity and the 5th largest of Europe. The macro indicators and fundamentals of our economy are extremely strong and healthy. The fact that $220 billion of direct investment chose Turkey since 2002 is one indication of this. Global direct investment fell by 13% in 2018, while direct investment to Turkey has increased by 13%, up to $13 billion. Thus, We, in 2017, moved 4 ranks higher in the ranking of countries that received the highest foreign investment among 199 countries on a year-on-year basis, with its strong growth performance, robust public finance, and a structure that is resistant to global crisis. Our country positively differentiates herself from the countries where similar conditions were seen before, where one of the countries most prepared for the effects of global trade wars and fluctuations in financial markets. With our new economy program, we are committed to achieve sustainable and balanced growth in the medium and long term. We will provide all material and moral support to our country, especially in order to increase the direct investments. Our investment office, which operates under the auspices of the presidency, provides entrepreneurs with all kinds of support and facilitation before, during, and after their investments. In addition, we show great sensitivity to ensure that political tensions with some countries do not adversely affect our commercial cooperation in the context of regional developments. We do not wish that neither investors nor traders struggle with meaningless difficulties or artificial obstacles. We believe that the welfare interests and trade cooperation of the Islamic world should be acted with an understanding that prioritize the political agenda. Dear brothers and sisters, the financial and historical conditions necessary for the economic growth and prosperity of Islamic countries are very favorable. What's important is to establish an effective cooperation mechanism between Islamic countries and to realize this with determination, because capturing the missed opportunities might not be possible over again. For this, it's important that we unite our forces and cooperate. As Turkey, we are always willing to share our experiences and the opportunities we have at hand to achieve our goals together with you. And we stand with our brothers and sisters with all of our means. We consider your success and the steps you have taken towards sustainable development as both our own success and the gain for the whole Islamic world. I consider this conference as a starting point to develop the existing cooperation between us and and at the same time pave the way for projects that will set an example for the whole world in new fields of activity. Before finishing my words, I would like to repeat a call I made at the 35th COMSAC meeting once again. The messenger clearly said that Muslims are like the limbs, the parts of a whole body. Just as one organ of our body suffers when others feel the pain, it is our main duty to worry about other brothers and sisters' troubles, no matter where they are in the world. Remaining insensitive, indifferent to the troubles of your brothers and sisters is not worthy of a Muslim. As Prime Minister stated before, on November 26, an earthquake of 6.4 magnitude occurred in the sister city of Durrës in Albania, and more than 50 of our brothers and sisters lost their lives, and nearly 1,000 citizens of Albania were injured in this earthquake. Here again, I would like to express my condolences to the relatives of my Albanian brothers and sisters who passed away due to this tragic event and wish the wounded a quick recovery. With my dear friend Prime Minister Rama, we have been in constant contact with my dear friend since the earthquake. Search and rescue team from AFAD, national medical rescue teams from the Ministry of Health, our NGOs went to Albania uh, and started working in the field. And we with the Ministry of Urbanization and Environment have instructions given, and up in the location spot of those homes to be built, we will be building a total of 500 new homes for Albania. I would like to highlight one thing. Now, 50 OIC members, if we stand hand in hand, less or more, doesn't matter. The amount does not matter. With such a support, we can rapidly make Albania stand back on her feet. Good wishes are, of course, beautiful, but we have a saying. You might not have your mouth sweetened just because you utter the word honey, honey, and honey over again. What's essential is to provide people with honey, and that's what we have to do. Here, the Islamic banks, they should take the most important step forward. For example, as Turkey, we have taken that step, and we do not consider that it will suffice. We will further continue to work. And Mr. Prime Minister sent many letters to many countries, and hopefully there will be many responses to the letters he sent, because you know we felt the sufferings of an earthquake very heavily. Our renowned Düzce Bolu earthquakes, Kocaeli earthquake, and Sakarya earthquakes, we experienced those. Also, the Van city and Bingöl city earthquakes. We are very much familiar with the sufferings we had in those places. If someone is wounded, then you need to find an answer. And we know because we have experience beforehand. It's not only about making wishes. We need philanthropists who will go over there and build another brick on top of the other. Because the earthquake is one of the greatest disasters that have happened to humankind. And in such a difficult situation, it is our humanitarian duty to stand by the Albanian people. I would like to ask you to support with all the means you have to help the ones to be healed in Albania. With this in mind, I wish that the high-level public and private sector investment conference of OIC, which was held for the first time, which is being held for the first time, will be beneficial for the entire Islamic world and humanity. So we have the private and the public sectors here. So not only the states, the private public authorities, but also the private sector representatives may attend to Albania and come up with work. We have many businessmen here. Our businessmen can also undertake many activities. I would like to congratulate you, our valuable executives who have accumulated experience and success to enrich the content of the conference. It's possible for you to share your zakat with them. As I put an end to my words with these thoughts, I repeat once again the pleasure of hosting you in our city, Istanbul. May God be with you and may His blessings be upon you.
Çok teşekkür ediyoruz efendim. Programımız burada sona ermiştir. Arz ederim. Distinguished guests, our program is finished now.